Hey guys, welcome back. And in this video, we'll just kind of finish up with the modeling that we have for the robot, and then we'll just kind of talk about what we'll do from there. So let's just jump right in. All right, here we are. And as you can see, we have a pretty good model that we went kind of out of our way to create, and we got some good stuff going on. Everything's been making sense. And I think what we can start doing from here is just shaping out the top of the head, the details that we have kind of going inside, and then adding that little kind of different, unique thing to the face right here, kind of like where the faceplate is. So let's just kind of jump right in. I'll go to the face mode right here, and then I'm just going to duplicate it like that, and then bring it forward. So that way, when I extrude it in, I can bevel this side right here, like so. Make a bevel like that, just to kind of represent the line right here. That looks pretty good. And then we can kind of move on from there. Let me deselect these right there, and then move this further in. And let's see. We need to delete the face that's right here, because that's kind of floating in space. And we don't want that. So let's select the whole thing. Move it back, let's say to around there. So with that done, we can come in here and we can even inset this face. I'm going to just press I. I'm going to inset it so that it kind of pops up a little bit. Just so we get that nice little kind of, if you can see, that nice little bevel right there. Let's delete this face, and let's just make sure we align this whole section right here to the correct axis. So I'm setting it to Y, scaled to 0. And I just want to turn on the increment snapping. There we go. And then that takes care of that. So there we go. We added some detail there. And then we can go a little further. Let's just connect these parts right here so we can kind of move on from there. And then let's just grab this face and duplicate it. Let's move it upward. Ah, right. I have to turn off snapping. Move it upward. And then let's just make a little loop cut right here. Let's just press right click to cancel the movement. And then from there, I'll just control B to bevel it. That way I have 2 points up here and 2 points down there. With that done, I can just grab this face and delete it, because now we don't really need it. From here, we can just extrude inward like so. And then we just need to go inside and delete these faces that we also created. So let me just take one more look. What we can do in edge mode is just grab these edges right here and give them kind of a trapezoid shape to them, just so they pop out a little bit more. And with that done, we can bring this in. Let me bring it in out a little bit more, and then bring the actual piece in a little bit more. That looks pretty good. So from here, what we can do is we can start adding in some cuts on this side right here. Go cut right there, and let's cut right here. Oh, accidentally grabbed something. Let's go to edge select, and then I just want to scale this on the Z axis, just so it's nice and flat. Do the same for this one as well. And I think what we can do here is actually just extrude in, like so. And then I think this can actually go up a little bit more. And then we can kind of just drag this part out a little bit. It's a little too much. Let's say around there. Grab this one right there. Scale it just a tad bit down. And then that kind of covers that detail right there of the little kind of, I don't know how you want to call it, but basically the little indent on the head. So now all we have to do is just kind of fix the topology. And honestly, this is probably the best way to go about it. So it's a pretty good win on that regard. So yeah, push this up a little bit more. Let's see. Let's push this up a little. In fact, we can even bring this part down. There we are. So with that done, let me just kind of come over here as well and kind of just help it smooth out. Let's say that's good. So from here, what we can do is start working on the top panel that we have right there. Let me just readjust myself. And so with that, let's just go in here and just grab some faces. I'm just going to grab these right here. And I'm thinking we can just duplicate it, kind of how we did with the front face, or the front of the helmet. Let's go in here. Let's go to edit mode. No, we already were. And let's, you know what? We're probably just going to delete all this. I know I said to just take a chunk out there, but we're not really going to need all that. And from my perspective, it looks like that ends right around there. And this goes up. There you go. Let's see. With that now, we can push this further in and then extrude it. And then I think, how do I want to do this? I think I want to bevel the edges, but make them a little smoother. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I keep looking at this and it looks like it wants to be a little bit smoother on the kind of side of the character. All right, so here's what we'll do. I'll go here to these corners. Actually, let me just select all of them by doing Control-Alt. All right, and then let's just bevel them out. And let me use 3. I'll just use 3. I won't try to go too crazy with that. And then we'll go over here to the face. We'll just inset. I think that works actually. Yeah, that works out. Okay, so from here, what we can do is grab this face, and again, this bottom face right here. And then we'll just duplicate, and then extrude from, or along normal. All right, that turned out pretty nice. Now let's just shrink. Let's see. I don't want to do this part. That's, well, it's definitely much smaller. That's for sure. I guess I was just trying to look at to see if I can kind of maybe exaggerate some of the pieces from what they were. Something a little bit more interesting. Doesn't want me to select for some reason. There we go. All right, so we got that selected. And let's just come up here and select this piece as well. And I want to make, again, that trapezoid shape. All right, there we go. I think, let's just kind of see what that looks like. You know what? I think what we can do to just kind of give it a nice look to it is actually push these in right here, these little tips. Let's just push them in. That way, if you can kind of tell, the profile right there, it curves, and that's kind of what I was trying to go for with, oh, accidentally grabbed that. That's what I was trying to go for with this, to have that curve right there. So maybe you don't see it necessarily from this angle, but I'm trying to imply that this part bevels out, even though we're just using a flat panel. It's just something I wanted to kind of show you guys. So I think with that, let's just go in here, inset this face until these points kind of come together. And then I'm going to press M to merge by distance. And there we go. So that merged all the pieces together, and now we have quads and triangles. I think from here, I know what we'll do. Let's go ahead, close this face. Okay, it's closed. And we'll add some cylinders to make a Boolean. So let's go to add modifier. Oh, sorry, let's select this piece. And is it selected? Yeah, it is. All right, we're going to need to separate this, to separate it by selection, and then add a Boolean modifier. So we'll set this to union. Sorry, not union, difference. I'll grab the... No, sorry, not the piece itself. I was thinking the other operation. Let me make the pieces right now. Let's go to cylinder. And let's bring this to bring it to 6. Oh, that's 5, not 6. There we go. And then I'm just gonna align this as best I can. All right. All right, there we go. Let me just take a look at this one more time. A little taller, so let's just kind of go back in here, change a few things. Primarily, how short this is. This can go up a little higher. I keep looking between the two. I think this can go up a little bit higher. Let's put it to around there. All right, so with that done, I'm going to choose the cylinder. There we go. And then this cylinder will have a wire viewport display. Sorry, not wire frame display. We're going to set the viewport display to bounds. So that way you can see inside, we're making a Boolean. And it's based off of the kind of shape of the cylinder that we made. So let's take a look. I think from here, we can just add more cylinders. And we don't even have to add more cylinders per se. We can just duplicate. Not sure why it's not wanting to show up. Well, anyways, regardless of it not showing up, we can just duplicate this and make a new object. And then just add that modifier. Make sure I select this one. Let me see if it's even appearing. Okay, everything's fine. Not really sure why it's not working. Well, there it is. Let's just add some duplicates right here. All right. And then I'm going to a new one right there. Here we are. All right, so now that we have that done, it's going to bring this out a little bit more just so that their pieces aren't kind of conflicting with the rest of the geometry that we have here. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think from here, we can just apply these booleans. And we can just delete these cylinders. So basically, we added the shape that we wanted. And it's not looking too bad. Got a nice shape there. And then I think from here, we're ready to move on to kind of the front face right here. So I was thinking with this one, kind of cut a triangle, kind of a Y shape right here. So let's go in here and let's cut right there and then kind of shape a like Y like so. With that done, I'm gonna just go here really quick. There we go. There we go. And I'm just gonna do the other side while I'm at it too. There we are. That's not too bad. So with that, we can kind of add a bit of stuff right here. And it might look a little complicated, yes. But it's kind of more just to help establish where we have our parts. I'm going to just cancel that. And then we're just going to extrude in. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, just going to confirm that really quick. All right. So now let's extrude these in. Delete that. Okay. So that looks pretty nice for now. I think if anything, we could probably let's try beveling these out really quick. Alright, that turned out okay. Let's just leave it as it is, and then we'll kind of move on from there. So I think from here, let's just go ahead and go to the faceplate that we have, and let's apply the mirror. So let's go over here to the little drop down and go to apply. And there we go. So with that done, I can come over here to this section right here and just kind of start selecting the faces I don't want to have there anymore. So let's go in here. Kind of select everything that we don't need. You kind of need to get in pretty close to make sure that you're selecting everything that needs to be deleted. There we go. All right. And then let's go down here. And then let's select these right here as well. All right, so that looks pretty good. I think from here, let's just delete these faces. And it might look a little weird at first, but don't worry. We're just kind of going to clean up. There we are. And then with this edge right here, we're going to select everything on the left side, just over here. We don't want anything else kind of going in. So I'm going to grab these right here. I'm just going to kind of push them down to this section. Let's say like around there. I'm going to scale this up to fit right there. And then just kind of put it in place to where I need it to be. Let's put that there. And then let's put this face a little bit higher. All right, and then let's just take these three vertices right here a little bit more down. And there we go. So now with that, what we can start doing is fixing kind of some of the areas we have here. All right, so before I start kind of doing that, I'm going to hide a few of these things because we won't really be seeing them right now, at least. I'm going to delete a few extra faces. There we go. Still leaving these back here because they kind of are getting in the way. I'm going to select these faces right here. Move them more to the middle, like around there. Then just kind of push them out. So I can kind of follow that shape that we've been using for the character. And then from there, I'm going to grab this vertice right here. And let's grab a couple of these and merge them to this one right here. So I'm going to set them to merge at last. And then we'll kind of go in here and start kind of bridging some of these together. Just using the F tool. That way we're just kind of making a very simple kind of model to this. We're not going to try to complicate it too much with having pieces go inside and, you know, just things like that. So just keep pressing the F. There we go. And now, what we need to do here is I'm just going to connect these two pieces right here. Just going to connect them to the center, and then just kind of merge these two right there, and then merge this into that part right there. So now you might be wondering why I'm doing that. And the only reason is because the kind of connection for the face ends right there. There's not really point in having a kind of free-floating face there. So I just wanted to close it off around where I thought it kind of made sense. And so that's the reason behind why I did that. So even if you were to kind of like look at it from an angle up here, you can still kind of tell it's not really going anywhere. So it's honestly fine as it is. From here, kind of fix this back part really quick. There we go. Actually, let's grab this one too. There we go. And I'm going to cut in here, have it kind of go there. And then I'll start kind of connecting these pieces right here. There we are. And there we go. So that kind of fixes that up a little bit. And just, we need to kind of clean it up a little right here. There we go. And just like that, we kind of fixed up the little area right there. I think we just kind of want to push this a little bit more. We can kind of flatten this side right here so that it's not too far in. Let's say around there. All right. And then with that, we can kind of start figuring out how we want to model the kind of little things that kind of come out right here. Let me bring these forward a little bit. All right. So from here, what we can start doing is working on the pieces. And really, the only thing we need to do here is just make a few cubes, like so. And just kind of place them into where they should go. They're really not that complicated. If anything, we can kind of rotate it to give it a kind of an angle. But most of it is just squares. They're just simple shapes. They're not going to go past a certain threshold though, so we are going to kind of keep them a little back, like so. That looks pretty good. Bring this out a little bit more. And then we'll just kind of push this face further back in. Let me change the transform to global instead of local. All right, there we go. That's better. Let me push this out a little bit more. Let me just align those. Align this a little bit better. And then let me grab these two vertices to kind of just push them into the angle we need, like around there. Same with these. There we go. So that kind of covers that little shape right there. I'm going to make another copy and just kind of bring it down. Push it a little in so we can kind of start getting the shape of the other piece, which I think goes kind of around here. Just need to push it up a little bit forward. And there you go. So that kind of shows maybe like the shape of the plating that goes inside, seeing as how this pattern is similar to this pattern right here. And then the last square I want to add is going to be more vertically rectangular than the other two that we just made. So I'm going to go kind of push it into around here and then bring it out a little bit more. But this time, I'm going to push it up slightly higher. I'm actually going to use this instead to kind of emphasize that shape. Yeah, we're kind of cutting out from where this part is supposed to be, but I like how this shape is looking, so I'm going to stick with that. And we'll just kind of put it around there. Let's grab the face, push it back out, and then from there, let's go ahead and start making the pipe. So to make the pipe, probably the easiest way to do this would be to get a cube, and then from here, I would scale this down just to kind of put it into where we need to put it. And let's see, let's put it around there. And I'd scale this on the Z and Y axis. Actually, the X and Y axis. Something like that. There we go. And then I'm going to just grab these two, scale them out, and then extrude them. And then with that, I'm going to extrude them inward. But let me just kind of readjust this really quick. There we go. And then I'm going to extrude them this way. Now, to kind of start with the curves, I'm going to select these two corners right here and just press Control B. I'm going to keep going until they reach the edges right there and then add a bevel. I'll do the same on this side, but I'm just going to add a very short one and with less pieces. So something like that. Kind of keeping it short, not trying to make it too crazy. All right. And so then that would basically be how I make the pipe right there. Press Control S on this piece right here. And then these two I'll flatten out. There we go. And then I will just one at a time, honestly, just scale them on the Z axis, like so. And then just adjust them a little bit so that they're a little bit more closer to the pipe that we have in the reference. So something like that. I want to keep it a little bit more square. I know the reference is a little bit more tubular, but I kind of like how the shape is coming out. It's not like a traditional kind of cylinder, but I like how it looks, so I'm kind of thinking of keeping it. Go in here really quick. All right, so with these selected right here, I'm going to push them further in, basically until they go over to the kind of part right there. And then I'm going to make a loop cut so that they can connect here, and then they connect here. With that, I'm going to select these faces here, press not Control, Alt E to extrude faces along normals. And that way we have this kind of exaggerated little area right there. And I think just for good measure, I'm going to add another loop right here, connect the paths, bevel this out, and then kind of squeeze this in. All right, let's unhide anything that we kind of chose to ignore. And then from here, now that we have this cylinder piece kind of modeled out, or like the little pipe piece modeled out, we can actually push this further back in because we kind of need it to represent where the pipe goes into. And then, yeah, that looks like kind of got it in there right there. So From there, let's just go in really quick and just add a few more pieces here. Let me just kind of see what we got working with here. Let me set that to shade flat. And let's just take a look. All right, we kind of modeled in those parts right there for the detail. I think if anything, you know what? Let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave that as it is. And I think we can call this modeled and done. I'm going to go over to this eye right here and just kind of set it to shade flat so we can kind of take a look at what we've got going on. And I think this looks pretty cool. So let me turn on wireframes just so you can see it. So yeah, there we go. I think, are good right here in terms of modeling. And then we can kind of start taking pieces to a higher detail after here and basically making it look much more crisper, much more cleaner. And we've already been working a lot on establishing everything, so a lot of the stuff here is only going to help us out in the future. So with that being said, thank you for watching, and in the next video, we'll start just pushing this to the next limit of making it look really nice and looking really cool. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know what you thought of this, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. And I'm really hoping the next one is going to be basically paying off a lot of the work that we've been doing with this. So I'll see you then.